I am Parikshit and welcome to another very exciting session on Unacademy CAT-alyst. In today's session, we are going to discuss a very interesting LRDI question, caselet rather, which has come in previous year mock papers. Very important and interesting caselet, a lot of learnings out of this caselet, okay? And that's what the caselet is all about, the Lock Key Conundrum. Let's get started. Okay, this is me, your educator on the platform with the highest live class ratings thanks to my learners. Okay, a lot of happenings in Unacademy in the next few days. A lot of new batches are starting. The 19th of June, the 23rd of June and the 23rd of June, there are two batches, right? So these are the upcoming three batches on Unacademy. If you wish to subscribe to any of these batches, remember you got to subscribe either to Unacademy Plus or to the Unacademy Iconic plan. And while doing so, remember to use the code which is there on your screen, Parikshit Live. If you use the code which is there on your screen, Parikshit Live, you get 10% discount on the subscription fee. Also, this particular code, Parikshit Live, will ensure that you get free mentorship. I repeat, free mentorship from my side. And mentorship is all about going beyond the class hours. So this is the only code which will offer free mentorship on Unacademy and beyond the class hours when you're practicing at home, mock papers and a lot more. Basically, your mentor for the CAT. And here, a bumper offer running at this point of time. You join us for 6 months using the code Parikshit Live. We are going to extend your subscription by a month. Absolutely free. 6 months you buy, 7 months you get in total. Let's get started straight away. Okay. Please read the caselet. Please read the caselet and we are going to solve this caselet together. It's a very interesting caselet, an easy one and a lot of learnings are there, right? Let's have a look. 5 locks L1, L2, L3 and L4 and L5 have 5 distinct keys K1, K2, K3, K4 and K5, not necessarily in the same order. A lock can be unlocked if and only if the correct key is used. So how can you unlock the lock? By using a correct key. Okay, I'll explain the table. Don't worry. Let's try to read the caselet first. 5 people, John, Henry, Charles, David and Kane, try to unlock the locks by using different lock key combinations. A person is awarded 2 points for each lock that she unlocks. So if you do it correct, you get +2. The 5 people end up with distinct scores at the end of the exercise. Distinct scores. Okay, keep that in mind. The table given below shows the lock key combinations tried by the 5 participants. Fine. So let's understand the table. Okay, let's try to understand the table. You know what? For lock 1, okay, can you see the rows? L1, L2, L3, L4 and L5. There are 5 locks. For these 5 locks, what were the combinations that John tried? So for lock 1, John tried the key K5. For lock 2, John tried the key K4. For lock 3, John tried the key K3. Lock 4, K2, K1 and so on. Similarly, let's say another person, David. For lock 1, he used the key K5. For lock 2, he used the key K4 and so on. So I think the table is quite intuitive. There is nothing much to learn here or understand here. What I see is 5 people, what are the combinations they use to open the different locks? That's what is given in the question. That's what is given in the caselet, right? And then if you have a look at the question, what is the final score of Charles if Kane scores less than Henry? So basically, what you need to find out is what is the correct key for every lock. I think it's very obvious. They have given you some combinations and questions will obviously ask you lock 1, which is the correct key, lock 2, which is the correct key and so on. So do you understand the caselet? I hope you understand the caselet. So the caselet is easy to understand, right? So nothing much in the caselet. But how do you start? How do you start here? How do you know which is the correct key for lock 1? So what do you have? Lock 1, lock 2, lock 3, lock 4 and lock 5. Which is the correct key? Not much is given in the question, but you have to start from somewhere. I think the easiest way to start would be to use the clue. What is the clue? every person gets a distinct score. Can you see this? Every person gets a distinct score. I think that is the word you have to capture to solve this case. Let's see how. Let's assume, let John be all correct. Let John be all correct. So I think I made an assumption here. What have I made? What assumption have I made? John is getting all of it correct. All of it correct. So I'll assume one by one. First I will say let John be all correct. Then I will say let Henry be all correct. So like this I will make 5 cases and see which case is correct and will fit the conditions given in the question. Fine. If John is all correct, can I say John must have scored? Remember, one correct, you get 2 points. One correct, you get 2 points. So if John is getting all 5 correct, can I say he has scored 10 points? Remember, one correct, 2 points, 5 correct, 10 points. So I hope you remember this, that John is getting all the 5 correct, right? All the 5 correct. Now let's look at K. Let's look at Henry. Let's look at Henry. What about Henry? Please compare. Remember, John, you have assumed it to be all correct. So for lock 1, if you look at John, you know that the correct key that is for lock 1 is key K5. Key K5. So can I say Henry must be wrong? Why? Because you have assumed John is correct. So for lock 1, the correct key was K5. K5, right? So K4 is wrong. What about K2? K2 is also wrong. Why? The correct key that you have assumed is K4. Similarly, what about K3? K3 is correct. Can you see Henry got the lock 3 correct? Because for lock 3, you know what? The correct key was K3. So K3 is correct. What about lock 4? Henry got this wrong. This should have been key 2. K2 as per the first row. So this is wrong. What about K1? Even this is correct. Even this is correct because you know what? Lock 5 correct key is K1. So can I say Henry got 2 correct? Lock 3 and lock 5. 2 correct means how many points? 4 points. 2 correct means how many points? Remember, 1 correct is 2 points. So 2 correct means 4 points. Correct? Let's look at Charles. Let's look at Charles. Okay, let's start. Charles, lock 1, he used K1. He used K1. But you know what? What was the correct key? K5. Correct key was K5. He used K1. He got this wrong. Similarly, K3. This is also wrong. Why? Because the correct key is K4. K4. This is also wrong. Why? Because the correct key is K2. K5. Even this is wrong. Why? Because for lock 4, the correct key was K2. Similarly, K2 is also wrong because for lock 5, the correct key was K1. So Charles got all of them wrong, meaning 0 points. Meaning 0 points. Do you get this? Next, let's say David. So David, first one, he used K5. Correct. Why? Because if you see John, you know what? Correct key was K5. David got this correct. What about K4? K4 is also correct because you know what? Lock 2 correct key, you have assumed it to be K4. So you got K4 correct. Correct. K3, is this correct? Definitely. For lock 3, if you see the first row, the correct key is K3 and you have K3. So even this is correct. What about K1? This is wrong because the correct key is K2. Here it is K2 wrong because the correct key is K1. So he got 2 correct. And remember, 1 correct is 2 points. So 2 correct is how much? 2 correct is how much? 4 points. 2 correct is how much? 2 correct, right? K4, sorry, 3 correct, 3 correct, 3 correct, 3 correct. K5, K4, K3, 3 correct. So 1 correct is 2 points. 3 correct means 6 points. 6 points. Absolutely, this is also possible. Next, K. Last person. First one is K4, wrong. Correct is K5. Second is K2, wrong. Correct is K4. Third is K3, correct. Fourth is K1, wrong. Fifth is K5, wrong because the correct is K1. 1 correct. So 1 correct, 2 points. I hope you got it. I hope you got it. That the first scenario was, let's assume John is getting all of them correct. So if John gets all of them correct, the possible answers are this. The possible answers are this. Correct? I hope you get this. I hope you get this. Correct? Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next one. Okay? Let's go to the next scenario. Okay? So what was the first scenario? John, let me write it. I'll just write it again so that I occupy less space. You assume John to be all correct. You assume John to be all correct. That was scenario 1. Scenario 2. Scenario 2. What is the next scenario? Let's assume H is getting all correct. Okay. let's assume that H is getting all correct. Okay. So if anyone gets all correct, he's getting 5 correct. It means H has scored 10 points. 10 points. Fine. So remember, now you've assumed that H is all correct. H is all correct. Fine. Let's continue the case then. Let's continue the case then. What about John? John has put K5, but you know what? The correct key is K4. So John is getting it wrong. John is getting it wrong. Next, Lock 2. The correct key is K2, but John is using K4. This is also wrong. Lock 3. The correct key is K3. John is also using K3. This is correct. What about next one? What about next one? K5. John used K2. Wrong. Next is K1. John is also using K1. Correct. So John got 2 correct, 2 correct, 1 correct, 2 points, 2 correct, 4 points. 2 correct, 4 points. Correct? Next, Charles. Next, Charles. So if you have Charles, can you see first one is incorrect? Why? Correct was K4. So Charles got this incorrect. Second, K3. Incorrect. Correct was K2. Third lock, K4. Incorrect. Correct was K3. Next, K5. K5 is correct. K5 is correct. What about K2? K2 is also wrong. So can you see Charles got only 1 correct, which was lock number 4. So 1 correct would mean 2 points. Would means 2 points. Correct? Let's continue. D. How many correct? First one should be K4. He wrote K5. Incorrect. Second one should be K2. He wrote K4. Incorrect. Third should be K3. David also used K3. This is correct. Next is K5. David uses K1. Incorrect. Next is K1. David is using K2. Incorrect. So how many correct? 1 correct. Again 2 points. Now take a pause. Now take a pause. And then you tell me this particular condition, okay, scenario is impossible. Why impossible? Because remember, every person ends up with a distinct score. Every person ends up with a distinct score. And you know what? Here, I don't want to find out K, but at this point of time only, I can clearly say C and D got the same points. Now, because they got the same points, this scenario is impossible. Remember, every person is getting a distinct score at the end of the exercise. So can I say this assumption that H got all correct is incorrect? This assumption that H got all correct is incorrect. So this scenario is impossible. This scenario is impossible. The scenario that H is getting all correct is impossible. Fine? So I hope you understand this. I hope you understand this. Let's go to the next scenario. What is the next scenario? C gets all correct. Now, someone of you must be thinking, it is taking so much of time. But remember, at the end of the day, there are 4 questions. Even if it takes 10 minutes, but you solve 4 of them, you end up with 12 marks. So I think it's worth the effort in an examination. Okay. C is getting all correct, means C gets 5 correct. So 5 into 2, 10 marks. 5 into 2, 10 marks, right? C is getting, remember, all of them correct. All of them correct. So first one is K1. So let's talk about J. You know what? Correct key is K1. John used K5. Incorrect. Second correct is K3. John used K4. Incorrect. Next correct is K4. John used K3. Incorrect. Next correct key was K5. John used K2. Incorrect. Next correct key was K2. John used K1. Incorrect. So you know what? John got all of them incorrect. So basically 0 points. Basically 0 points. Right? Next, Henry. Let's talk about Henry. What did Henry use? K4. Correct key is K1, right? But Henry is using K4. Incorrect. Next, K2. Incorrect. Correct key is K3. Next, incorrect. Correct key is K4. Next, correct. K5. Remember, the correct key is K5. Henry also uses K5 for lock 4. This is correct. Whatever the last one, incorrect, because the correct key is K2. So how many correct? 1 correct. And 1 correct. How many points? Everything correct. Per question, 2 points. So 1 correct, 2 points. Correct? Next, David. Next, you look at David. You know what, David? Again, continue the process. K5 is wrong. What is correct? K1. K4 is wrong. Correct is K3. K3 is wrong. Why? Because the correct is K4. Next, K1 is wrong. Correct is K5. Last one, K2 is correct. Last one, K2 is correct because the correct is also K2. So 1 correct. How many points? 2 points. Take a pause again. Take a pause again and ask yourself, is this scenario possible? What was the scenario? This was the scenario that C gets all correct. Not possible. Why not possible? Because at the end of the game, every person, as per the question, should be scoring a distinct number, distinct scores they have. But you know what? Here, if you look at it, H and D are getting the same score. Same score is highly impossible. Hence, the scenario that C got all correct is incorrect. Is incorrect. Is not possible. Is not possible. Fine. So C also cannot be getting all correct. This is not possible. Next, what is the next scenario? The next scenario is D getting all correct. Let's make the next assumption. What is the next assumption? D gets all the keys correct. D gets all the keys correct. Fine. So if D is getting all the keys correct, meaning he is getting 5 locks correct. 5 locks. So 1 lock 2 points, meaning 5 locks D would have got 10 points. 5 lock D would have got 10 points. So that's an assumption that D is getting all correct. Now let's compare. Let's start with J. If D is getting all correct, means for the first one, correct key is K5. John also uses K5. So John got this correct. Next, you know what? Correct key is K4. John also uses K4. Perfect. John got the second one also correct. Third one, correct key is K3. John also uses K3. Perfect. John got this correct as well. Next, correct key is K1. John uses K2. This is wrong. Next, correct key is K2. John uses K1. This is wrong. So how many did John get correct? 3 correct. 3 correct would imply 6 points. 3 correct. Per correct 2 points. So 3 correct, 6 points. Next, Henry. Henry. Continue the process. Remember the correct key is K5. Henry is using K4. Incorrect. Correct key is K4. Henry is using K2. Incorrect. Correct key is K3. Henry also uses K3. This is correct. Next, correct key is K1. Henry uses K5. Wrong. Correct key is K2. Henry uses K1. Wrong. 1 correct. So per correct 2 marks. Henry gets 1 correct. So 2 points. 2 points. Right. Next human being. Charles. Correct key is K5. Henry uses K1. Wrong. Correct key is K4. Henry uses K3. Wrong. Correct key is K3. Henry uses K4. Wrong. Correct key is K1. Henry uses K5. Wrong. Correct key is K2. Even Henry uses K2. This is correct. So per correct 2 marks. 1 correct, 2 points. Take a pause. Take a pause. Again you tell me this scenario is not possible. Why? Remember, 2 human beings, H and C, are getting the same scores. But question clearly tells you every person's score is distinct. The numbers are distinct. So same scores are highly impossible. Meaning this scenario is not possible. What is this scenario? That D got all correct is not possible. D is getting all correct is not possible. Right? That D gets all the locks correct is also impossible. So the last assumption. What is the last assumption? The last assumption is the last person K gets all correct. The last person K is getting all correct. Fine. Okay, let's have a look. Let's start. Because K is getting all correct, he is getting all 5 correct would imply 10 marks. Remember, 1 correct, 2 points. So 10, 5 correct, 5 correct means 10 points. So K is getting all 5 correct. That's an assumption. Let's start. First one, correct answer is K4. John used K5. Wrong. Correct one is K2. John uses K4. Wrong. Correct one is K3. John also uses K3. Correct. Correct one is K1. John uses K2. Wrong. Correct one is K5. John uses K1. Is wrong. So John got 1 correct. 1 correct means 2 points. 1 correct means 2 points. Correct. Next, Henry. Correct one is K4. Henry also uses K4. Correct. Correct one is K2. Henry also uses K2. Correct. Correct one is K3. Henry also uses K3. Correct. Correct one is K5. Henry uses K1. Correct one is K1. Henry uses K5. Wrong. Correct one is K5. Henry uses K1. Is wrong. So 3 correct. 3 correct would mean 6 points. 3 correct would mean 6 points. Next, Charles. Correct one is K4. Charles is using K1. Wrong. Correct one is K2. Charles is using K3. Wrong. Correct one is K3. Charles is using K4. Wrong. Correct one is K1. Charles is using K5. Wrong. Correct one is K5. Charles is using K2. Wrong. So Charles got all of these wrong. All of these wrong. Meaning Charles ended up with 0 scores. And the last fellow. Last fellow is Dravid. Let's start. Correct one is K5. David uses K4. Correct one is K4. David uses K5. Wrong. Correct one is K2. David uses K4. Wrong. Correct one is K3. David also uses K3. Right. Correct one is K1. David also uses K1. Right. Correct one is K5. David uses K2. Wrong. So two of them are correct. Two of them are correct means one correct 2 points, two correct 4 points. Is this scenario possible? Definitely yes. Why? Because all the numbers as you see are distinct. 10, 2, 6, 0, 4. All the numbers are distinct. This is possible. So you are done. Probably you took 10 minutes, you took 12 minutes. If you are slow, you might end up taking 15 minutes. It's worth the effort because at the end of the day, there are 4 questions in this case. That 4 questions would mean 3 into 4, 12 marks. Let's get started. Let's get started. What is the final score of Charles? So remember, there are 2 scenarios possible. Scenario 1 and the last scenario. In the last scenario, right? The scenarios in between are impossible. So what is the score of Charles? In both the scenarios, the score of Charles is 0. Hence, answer for the first one is 0. Next, if Kane scores less than Henry, K is less than Henry. Let's talk about it. In the first scenario, Henry is 4, K is 2. Is K less than Henry? Definitely yes. So scenario 1 is valid. Last scenario, K is 10 and Henry is 6. But question clearly tells you K is less than Henry. So last scenario is invalid. Why invalid? Because K is more than Henry. Question is K less. It means we are talking about scenario 1. So in scenario 1, what is the sum of scores of John and David? Scores. Sum of scores, right? John and David. So John is 10, David is 6. Sum of the scores is 16. Sum of the scores is 16. Correct? Next, what is the least possible score of David? Least possible score. So they will get 2 answers, right? So in first scenario, David scored 6 points. Last scenario, David scored 4 points. They are saying the least of the 2. Obviously, the least of the 2 is 4 points. 6 and 4, least is 4. And the last one, what is the minimum possible absolute difference between scores of John and David? Minimum possible. So in first case, John and David, right? What is the score of difference? John and David, 10 minus 6, 4. 10 minus 6, 4, right? Absolute. So you're not bothered about which one is larger. 10 minus 6, difference is 4. In the last case, John and David, the difference is 2 and 4. 2 minus 4, remember, absolute difference. Not bothered about the signs. 4 minus 2, 2. So among the 2, which is smaller, you're going to take the least of them, right? Least of them. So minimum of 4, 2, answer is 2 for the last one. Did you follow this? Did you all follow this? Any doubt? Any doubt in this? I hope this is abundantly clear. This caselet is abundantly clear before I start the next caselet. Did you all understand? I'm looking at YouTube to make sure that if anyone has a doubt, you can ping me. You can ping me live. I'll be happy to answer. Okay. Let's go to the next caselet. Let's go to the next caselet. Okay. The next caselet. Fine. Let's start with the next caselet. Yes. Another very interesting caselet. Let's start with this. Let's start with this. Okay. Please read it. Please read it. And then we do it together. Okay. Let's read it together. In fact, a computer manufacturing company has conducted a survey among 5,000 students of the cities Mumbai and Chennai to find out how many of them own desktop computers and how many own laptop computers. So basically a survey is being conducted to find out how many have desktops and how many have laptops. Apart from the fact that each one of the students own at least one of the 2 types of computers, the following is also known. So you know what? Every student owns at least one. At least one means what? Minimum one of the 2. So they own either a laptop or a desktop. So there is no student among the 5,000 who does not own any of these. So n is equal to 0 will not be a case. Meaning there is no student who does not own laptops as well as desktops. So everyone owns either laptop or desktops or both. Correct? Fine. Next, first point. Among 5,000 students, 2,000 students belong to Mumbai, and out of these 2,000, 30% own both types of computers. So if you have a look, and I think till this point of time, if you are able to recognize, there are 4 variables. What are the 4 variables? First variable is Mumbai. Second variable, let's write down the variables. What are the variables? First variable is Mumbai. Second variable is Chennai. Can you see? Third variable is desktop. Fourth variable is laptop. Four variable is laptop, right? So four variables. Mumbai, Chennai, desktop and laptop. These are the four numbers you got to identify. So it could be Mumbai students owning desktops, or Mumbai students owning laptops, or Chennai students owning desktop, or Chennai students owning laptops, or Chennai students owning both, or Mumbai students owning both. So some overlapping is there, and there are four variables. So I think a four set Venn diagram might not be very easy for many of you. There is overlapping and there are four variables. So I think the easiest way to solve this could be through tables rather than a Venn diagram, because the four set Venn diagram might not be easy for many of you. So what will I try to draw? I will try to draw what? A table. Okay. So what do you have? You have Mumbai, you have got Chennai, and then you have got total. So what do you have? You have desktops, okay? Some of them will own laptops. There will be some which will own both of them, and there will be others, and the other sum is total. Right? Desktop and then total. So I'll just write a bit on the left hand side so there is space for me. Fine. So I think this is the table that I would love to fill up. Right? Think about it. So let's just draw this table and complete it. Fine. So I think this is what we have. Okay. Fine. Total students is 5,000. Correct. So I'll put a 5,000. Fine. Let's start. Among 5,000 students, 2,000 students belong to Mumbai. So Mumbai is simple, 2,000. If 2,000 is Mumbai, obviously the remaining 3,000 has to be from Chennai. Okay. Among 5,000 students, 2,000 students belong to Mumbai, and out of these 2,000, 30% own both types of computers. 30%. So how much is 30% of 2,000? 600. 30% of 2,000 is 600. Fine. Next. 1,200 students belonging to Mumbai own desktop computers. So Mumbai and desktop is 1,200. Mumbai and desktop is 1,200, right? So point number 2 also taken. 1 as well as 2 is taken. Fine. Next. Among students who own desktop computers, okay, and also belong to Chennai, 25% own laptop computers also. Okay. We are talking about students who own desktop and belong to Chennai. Desktop and Chennai. Okay. So can I say we are talking about this region, desktop and Chennai? This is the region that we are talking about, right? The one with the dot. Desktop and Chennai. Among students, desktop and Chennai. So let's say this is X. Okay. So among these X students, you know what? 25% own laptops also. So can I say among these X, among students, what is the total number of students owning desktop in Chennai? X. So among these X students, 25% own laptop also. So can I say it will be 0.25x. 0.25x. Will you agree? Laptop. Also, why not out here? Because this would indicate laptops, right? What I'm bothered is desktop plus laptops. So if Chennai desktop students count is X, 25% of them own laptops also, meaning 25% own both of them. So if this is X, Chennai desktop, this will be 0.25x. 0.25x. Now generally, I don't love decimals, okay? I don't love decimals because I believe, what do I believe? Your calculation speed slows down. I believe your calculation speed slows down. So instead of 0.25x, let's multiply with 4 and remove the decimal. So if you multiply this with 4, even the first one you will multiply with 4, right? X into 4. So you'll rather call this as 4x. 4x, and this one you will call it as x. Right? So I think that's better instead of taking a decimal. I think that is better. So let's call it x and 4x. So if desktop Chennai is 4x, Chennai and both is 25% of 4x, which is x. Fine. So 0.3 also taken a note. Next, 2,800 students among the surveyed group own desktop computers. So you know what? Total of desktop is 2800. 2800. So this number is 2800. Correct? Fine. Now think about it. Vertically, okay, we are done with all the clues. We are done with all the clues. It's now all about solving this case. We are done with all the clues. It's now about solving this case, right? Now think about it. How do you solve it? The best way would be to look at desktop vertically. Can you see desktop? The sum of 1200 plus 4x is 2800. 1200 plus 4x is 2800. So can I say 4x must be 1600? Can I say? Because sum is 2800. So if the above number is 1200, the first number, the second number has to be 1600 for the sum to be 2800. Correct? Next. If 4x is 1600, you know what? 4x now is equal to 1600. You know this. If 4x is 1600, can I say x is 400? Can I say x is 400? So this number is 400. This number is 400. So now if you add vertically, how much you are getting? 600 plus 400 is 1000. 600 plus 400 is 1000. So you are almost on the verge of getting an answer now. You have filled up 2 columns. Only 1 column is remaining, which you got to fill now. But the problem is a lot of students will now get this column wrong. Okay, so you got to be a bit careful. You got to be a bit careful. Let's think about it. Let's for the last column. Okay, the last column. Let's try to draw a Venn diagram. Okay, what do I have? Desktop plus laptops. Desktop plus laptops. Okay. You know what? Desktop plus laptops, if you see, so let's call it D, let's call it L. Desktop plus laptops total is 5000. Okay, for the last column, if you are able to visualize. How much is desktop? 2800. How much is desktop? 2800. How much is laptop? 1000. How much is laptop? 1000. Will you agree? Will you agree on this? And total is 5000. Total is 5000. Fine. Let's think about it. Let's say this is A. This is B and this is C and this is C. Yeah, A, B and C. A, B and C. So A, B and C total is 5000. How much is N? N is 0. Why is N 0? Question clearly tells you everyone own at least one of the 2 types. So there is no one who doesn't own anything. Who doesn't own anything. So can I say in that case, can I say, you know what? B is how much? As per my table. This value of B is 1000. If this value of B is 1000, you know what? How much is A? Remember, total is 2800. Total is 2800. So A has to be 1800. A has to be 1800. And how much is laptops? Remember, total is, how much is laptops? This is not 1000. B is 1000. B is 1000, right? Now think about it. This is not 1000. My bad. Yeah. Okay. Now think about it. Now think about it. Total is 5000. Total is 5000. You already got 2 numbers. You got A as 1800. B is from the table 1000. B from the table is 1000. So if B from the table is 1000, A has to be 1800. Only then the sum is 2800. So up till now, you have got it to be 2800. How much more do you need? Remember, total is 5000. So can I say C is nothing but 5000 minus A minus B? How much is C? Minus A minus B. So 5000 minus A minus B is 5000 minus 2800. C is 2200. C is 2200. Do you follow? Do you follow? Any doubt in this? Any doubt in this? Are you clear? So how many students own laptops? How many students own laptops? Number of students owning laptops, if you are able to visualize, is B plus C. How many students own laptops? Number of students owning laptops is B plus C. B plus C. So how much is it? 3200. How much is it? 3200. Think about it. It's very, very, very easy. 3200. So can you cross verify? 2800 plus 3200 is 6000. 6000 minus 1000 is 5000. Minus 1000 is 5000. Why minus? Again, I will repeat. Why minus? Think about it again. Think about it again. If I were to draw this diagram, okay, if I were to draw this diagram, okay, the last one, this last one, if I were to draw a diagram like this, you know what? This both, okay, what is the desktop part? Desktop is this entire circle. Can you see? What is desktop? Desktop is this entire color. This entire color is desktop, which is 2800. What is laptop? Laptop which we have got is 3200, right? Is this entire color. Is this entire color, right? So basically, if you are able to visualize, desktop is this portion. This entire portion is desktop. What is laptops? As per the table, laptop is this portion. Is this portion. Can you see this green dots? So can I say this both region is getting added twice? So when we are counting desktops as 2800, you consider this both region. You consider this both wala region and got 2800. Similarly, when you calculated laptops, you again counted this region. That means you counted this common part. So this common part is getting added twice. Is getting added twice. So can I say I have to subtract it one time? I have to subtract it one time. Why? Because you are adding it twice. So now you see 2800 plus 3200 minus 1000. This is equal to 5000. This is equal to 5000. Are you following? Are you following? Similarly, how much is this? Same logic. 1600 plus, let's say, A. So how you frame the equation? So there are two ways of, I'll show you both, okay? Mathematically as well as diagrammatically. Let's look at mathematically first. So how is the equation? 1600, okay, plus A minus 400. Remember both, whatever is the both part you will subtract. Minus 400 is 3000. So can I say A is equal to how much? A is equal to 1000. A is equal to how much? 1000. Are you getting it? A is equal to how much? 1200, sorry, 1200. 3000 minus 1200 is how much? 1800. 1800. A is 1800. So do you get this? Do you get this value as 1800? I hope you are following. I hope you are following. If you want to visualize it, if you want to visualize this particular row, right? How it will visualize? Think about it. You will think about it like this, right? So first one is desktop. What is desktop? And remember laptops. Desktop is 1600. Desktop is 1600. So what do you mean by desktop is 1600? I mean this entire part is 1600. This entire part is 1600. Similarly, what is laptops? 1800. This entire part is laptops 1800. So can you see when you use desktops, you counted this both wala part. When you use laptops, you again included the both wala part. The both part got added twice. So you got to subtract it once. You got to subtract it once. So how will you frame the equation? 1600 plus 1800 minus 400 is 3000. Minus 400 is 3000. So remember, it is not plus. It is not plus. It is minus. Why? Total is nothing but desktop. Again, I will repeat because I know some of you are having a doubt. What is the total? Total is desktop, this particular circle, plus laptops, this particular circle, minus the part which you are counting twice. Which is the part which you are counting twice? This both part. This both part. Because you are counting twice, you got to subtract. Please don't add it. If you still add it, God, all sums will go wrong. Fine? I think you understood this. You understood this. Correct? Let's look at the first row. Now, I think the first row can be easily done. Easily done. You know what? Total is 3200. Total is 3200. So obviously, total is 3200. Chennai is 1800. So Mumbai must be 3200 minus 1800. 1400. 1400. Yes? If you want to visualize it, can you visualize it? Can you visualize this? Remember how much is the total for that particular row? The total for that particular row, if you want to visualize it, Mumbai, Delhi. Total Mumbai, Chennai. Mumbai, Chennai. Total is 2000. How much is Mumbai? Mumbai is 1200. Meaning this particular circle, okay, this particular circle is 1200. Is 1200. Similarly, how much is laptop? Laptop is 1400. Laptop is 1400, right? Laptop is 1400. So this part. So you are adding Mumbai, you are adding Chennai, because of which this common part is getting added twice. Is getting added twice. Hence, you will subtract it. Hence, you are going to subtract it. So 1200 plus 1400 is 2600. Common part got added twice. Subtracted. 2600 minus 600 is 2000. Is 2000. That's it. That's it. You are ready to answer the questions. 9 marks for you if you are able to prepare this table. Remember, 3 questions, 9 marks. Let's look at the answers. How many students among those belonging to Chennai own laptops? So Chennai and laptop is how much? 1800. They are not saying only laptop. Chennai and laptop. How much is it? 1800. Correct? 1800 is the answer. Next, how many students own only laptops? Own only laptops. Think about it. Again, question number B. Okay, I think B will come back. B will come back. Okay, we'll come back. Let's do the easy one first. How much is C? How many students own laptop as well as desktop? So basically, they're asking you the both wala part. Both part, right? Desktop as well as laptop is 1000. Desktop as well as laptop is 1000. So third one is 1000. Second one. How many students own only laptops? Again, let's draw the diagram. Let's draw the diagram if it is not clear to you. If it's not clear to you. Fine. How many students own only laptops? So think about it. So let's look at the last row. So what is the total number of students? Total number of students is 5000. Is 5000. How many own desktop? Desktop was 2800. How many own laptops? Laptops was 3200. 3200 from the last row. So now have a look. Last row, you know what? Both is 1800. Both is 1000. So how many people own both? 1000. So this part is 1000. Correct? How many own desktop? 2800. So the total circle is 2800. Total desktop circle is 2800. Both is 1000. So this part is 1800. This only desktop is 1800. Similarly, laptop total is 3200. People owning both is 1000. So can I say only laptop is 3200 minus 1000, which is 2200. 2200. So your answer for the second one is 2200. Is 2200. Beautiful question. Beautiful question. 4 variables, difficult to draw a Venn diagram. Hence, the easiest way of solving this was via this table. And remember, we spend a lot of time analyzing why both means minus. It's not plus. Desktop plus laptop minus both will get you the total. Will get you the total. Fine. So I think you understood. Okay. Now something I must tell you, an important announcement. A lot of students often struggle in LRDI. And we in Unacademy Plus make every effort to make sure that you master this section, right? So every morning, Monday to Friday, we do LRDI live, Monday to Friday, 7:45 a.m. to 8:45 a.m. Every morning, Monday to Friday, and this will continue till your CAT. We do a lot of case lists live. Okay? And in addition to this live case list, what I give you is a lot of practice material. How many hours? Over 200 hours of practice material I will provide you on Unacademy Plus with video solutions. 200 hours, not only practice materials, but with video solutions. Let's say someone wants to start LRDI from the very basic. You know what? You will start from LR sequence 1. What is happening in LR sequence 1? I've spent 16 hours solving case lists which are based on foundation concepts. Very basic concepts. We have spent 16 hours talking about these foundations of LR so that you are able to master it. 16 hours of videos are available. Similarly, if someone once is done with foundation, you know what? You are gonna want to know more about the concepts. So foundation is everything. Concepts. What are the important concepts for LR case lists? We will discuss it through examples. We'll take a lot of case lists, easy ones, wherein the concepts are fine-tuned and so that you are able to understand. 14 hours of videos are available. 14 hours. Similarly, once the foundation and concepts are there, what you're going to do? You are going to apply both of them. You are going to take both of them and be able to apply them. Application. That's where the next course comes, 13 hours. So in this way, a course has been developed in such a way that it starts from the easiest questions and goes on to be the most difficult ones, right? So easiest to the most difficult in a step-by-step manner, 200 plus hours of video solutions available. 600, I think around 700, 800 questions, case lists have been done in this 200 hours. So I think this is the most exhaustive course ever available on Unacademy, or for that matter, any platform. But the thing is, you will get access to these classes only and only if you subscribe to Unacademy Plus. Now remember, when you subscribe to Unacademy Plus, remember to use the code Parikshit Live. Why do you use this code? Because you get discounts. You will get maximum discount if you use my code Parikshit Live while subscribing to Unacademy Plus. Also, there is a bumper offer running at this point of time. What is this bumper offer? The bumper offer is, if you join Unacademy Plus for just 6 months. You join us for just 6 months. Why 6 months? Because the CAT is only 6 months away. You join Unacademy Plus for 6 months, and we in Unacademy is going to extend your subscription for free by another 1 month. So that the non-CAT exams like NMET, ZAT, SNAP, IIFT, all these are taken care of, and you'll be able to access even these classes absolutely free. But all benefits you'll get only if you join Unacademy Plus using my code Parikshit Life. And the third benefit is if you join Unacademy Plus using my code Parikshit Life, you get free mentorship. I repeat, the only code which will give you free mentorship free mentorship is using the code Parikshit Life. What happens is, in a class, any doubt you have, I'm going to solve it. I'm going to clarify it. But beyond the class hours, when you're practicing at home, when you're practicing from your books, when you're probably solving mock questions, you want to know more about strategies, you want to know how to analyze mocks, all of them, I will be your mentor. All of it beyond your class hours if you join Unacademy Plus using my code Parikshit Saikya. And that's available. The mentorship is available only and only on this particular code. Yes? I think that's it for today. A lot of students often ask me, sir, if I join using your code Parikshit Life, will I get access to all educators? Definitely yes. Because remember, you are not subscribing to me. You are subscribing to Unacademy Plus. So any educator who teaches on Unacademy Plus, be it verbal, Quants, LRDI or Quants, any educator, you will get access to all educators if you join Unacademy Plus using this code Parikshit Life. So a lot of benefits for the code Parikshit Life. Just make best use of it. Okay. And one important thing is, do test yourself. And yeah, if you are a BBA or a hotel management aspirant, there are a lot of courses available for you as well. Use my code Parikshit Life to get all the discounts and benefits. And yes, do test yourself. Just not sufficient to keep practicing and studying. Test yourself. Where do you stand using the Unacademy scholarship test? You'll get your marks, you will get ranks, and at least you'll get to know how is your preparation going. Also remember, for the test, use my code Parikshit Life to enroll, and you get a lot of benefits. I think that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed my session. Hope you enjoyed the case list, and I'm going to see you in my next class. Till then, goodbye and stay safe. Bye for now.